Hi guys, it's Mel here again, and today I'm gonna show you how to convert your models for Counter-Strike Global Offensive. The open beta is coming tomorrow for pre-orderers, and the game releases in about a week. So I figured this would be pretty much a pretty good time to teach you how to put your stuff into it. And I have to warn you beforehand that the tools and methods we have to use at the moment are really beta, and it's really hacky, but it kind of works. So it'll probably change sometime after release if people release better tools and come up with better methods. But without further ado, let's get into work. And I've already converted my materials into the VTF format and written some quick material files for them, and I won't cover that because it's pretty simple stuff and you can read up on it. And I've also placed some vanilla files into a folder, actually two folders. I'm keeping a spare copy of them here in case I need the vanilla files for something, and a separate decompile folder. And before I can decompile, I'll use the VTX fixer, which is a simple batch file that just basically copies the VTX file and well, actually I'll show you. Basically just creates these two files from this VTX, so we can decompile it. And let's scroll down here and just plug in the model file and the folder into the decompiler. And before we can decompile it, we'll also have to hex edit the model in Notepad++. As you can see, the header is IDST1 when it should be IDST0 or IDST comma. And I'll just use the hex editor plugin and change this byte to comma, or should change it. I'm not sure why it's not actually changing it. Okay, maybe I'll not do it in the hex editor. But whatever you do, make sure you use Notepad++ and not regular Notepad, because that'll break your files. Or you can also use just a regular hex editor, but I prefer Notepad++. And now it should decompile, but it won't decompile properly because the model structure is different compared to older Source engine games. So let's just hit exit, and it should produce a half-working QC file and an idle animation. Well, we don't really need the idle animation, but anyway. And I'll just remove this material bit here, since it's only a comment, so it's not really necessary. And what we have to do is we'll have to include a couple of lines here. We'll have to include this bone merge file so that the arms will work, because Global Offensive uses several arm rigs, and I think the decompiler removes bones that are unused in the model, since the arms are in a separate model, and the arms won't work properly if we don't use the bone merge file. And it just basically lists all the arm bones with the bone merge function. But you don't need to write this out. I'm gonna share it in the video description because I'm such a nice guy. But we'll just have to call it with include. Actually, I'll have to check here. I'll just copy paste it from an older file because I'm lazy. And I'll also change the CD materials line to match my materials. And we'll also, since the decompiler can't decompile the animations from the ani file, we'll have to use the include model line, which basically pulls the animations from a working model file, which will be a renamed vanilla model file. So let's call it, let's say, tokarev anim.mdl, and that's pretty much it for the QC part. Now in 3ds Max we'll have to open the model file, and I'll just unhide and apply a diffuse material to this so that the decompiler knows which texture to call. And I'll apply the tokarev.psd and the compensator.psd for the compensator. And I'll also save this as a separate file. Okay, and I'll just import with the SMD plugin the P250 model.smd, and untick that because we won't need to input textures, nor do we need the smoothing groups for it. And as you can see, it's a little small in comparison to the tokarev, so I'll just group these and scale this down by a lot. I'll just center the pivot so it's easier to scale down. And tick the angle snap toggle to rotate in 5-degree increments. And I'll just position this over the model. And well, it still needs a little scaling, but just play with the scale and placement. You should mostly try to match the grip and the trigger, so it won't clip too much. And I'll temporarily hide the bones from the display tab to make it a little easier. Yep, that should do it. Maybe move it a little down. Maybe scale a little down as well. Okay. And just unhide those. And if I hit H for the select from scene, I should see which parts I have to detach. And I'll actually before I do that, I'll hide my model temporarily, and the trigger on this one is actually, trigger on, I mean the hammer on this works a little bit differently than on the tokarev, but I don't really care. So I'll just ungroup these, hide unselected, and detach. Doesn't really matter what you call them. Actually, I'll hide the frame temporarily so I can access the bullet in the magazine easily. And yeah, bolt of course. Okay, that should do the trick. Just unhide. I'll delete the original model and just pick the select and link and start linking these to appropriate bones. Yeah, I forgot to actually detach the slide as well. Okay, that should be a little better. I'll just attach these back and assign these to the parent bone as well as the compensator. So, not sure how it'll look when it animates. Well, actually, it looks okay. And I'll just save and temporarily move one of the bones to make sure that I assigned all the bones, which it looks like I did. And this should hopefully work straight away. So I'll just navigate to the folder and I'll copy the original one and overwrite this with the reference SMD, and now it should hopefully compile. With any luck, I'll select the orange box version and it'll compile this to the Counter-Strike Source folder, and we're using pretty much the old SDK for this, but I'll just copy paste the files where they belong. Yeah, of course I'll actually have to load the QC file first. Yeah, this should yeah, actually forgot to call this bone merge. Doesn't really matter what you call it, but and looks like I Forgot to assign this to the magazine for some reason. Let's try again. Yep, that works. And now I'll just go to my C-Strike folder and copy the files to my CS Global Offensive. And the I forgot to tell you earlier, but the vanilla files are in the VPK files, and they open nicely with the GCFscape, just like older types of vanilla files. And I'll also have to copy my material folder. And now load up the Global Offensive SDK and pray that it works. Yeah, actually before I do that, I'll have to edit the pack 01 dir.vpk file, and before modifying this file, do make a copy of it in case you screw something up. But I'll just go and open this with Notepad, use the find and replace to find any instances of vpist p250 and replace that with anything else. Doesn't matter what you call it. We will just have to edit the VPK so that it forces the game to load loose files instead of those that are packed in the VPK files. And now that that's done, I can open up the Global Offensive SDK and open up the model viewer. Pray that my custom model works. Yep, it does, but the materials don't display correctly at the moment for some reason. Yeah, actually, I also forgot to add the vanilla file. So I'll scroll back to the vanilla files and copy the animation file. Actually, I'll copy them into a new folder temporarily and call this tokarev anim, and don't modify the ani file in any way, and just copy these back to the models folder, and that should make the animations load at least. So I'm still not sure what's not causing the textures to not load. Yep, that's still not working for some reason. Let's see. tokarev.anim.mdl. That should work but not sure. I wonder what's. Oh yeah, I copied them in the wrong folder. Yeah, that might be why it's not working, I think. Yeah. Might have to reopen this. It's a little tedious. Yeah, that works a lot better. Though the textures still don't work, but at least we have the animations working. And to get some hands on this, let's hit load weapons and CT arms, for instance, or T arms, whatever you prefer. I'll use the default CT arms, and as you can see, it works nicely. So let's see what we can do about the textures. Materials, models, millennia. Yeah, it should be in weapons. Yep, that's better already, though it's still not working for whatever reason. Yeah, that's why. Yep, that's a lot better. Though the smoothing looks a little off. Not sure what could be causing that. I'll have to look into it. And the compensator isn't working either yet. Yeah, that's one. Accidentally replaced too much when copy pasting my VMT file. Actually, yeah, that's why it's not looking great, because I forgot to load the actual normal maps. And let's give a little more boost. It has a little bit of smoothing errors, but that's probably Redrog's fault, since he doesn't use 3ds Max to bake his normal maps. 3ds Max produces pretty much perfect normal maps for Source engine games, so using Max is kind of advised. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And I won't cover how in detail how to make the world models, but basically just decompile the world model and rig it. You don't have to do any trickery compared to the view models. Just change the collision model from the original physics model to the new SMD file, and the compiler should automatically create a convex collision hull for you. But yeah, that's pretty much compiling for Global Offensive. If you got any questions, feel free to contact me in any way. Leave a comment in the video description. Hit me up on Game Banana or CDG or YouTube, whatever. Hit me up on Skype or Steam or whatever. And I hope this process becomes a little easier when Global Offensive is actually released. Because at the moment, every time they roll out an update that affects the dir VPK, you have to re-edit it with Notepad for all the custom models you use, which is pretty annoying. But yeah, thanks for watching, and